All right, then we are live.
Good morning. Good morning from my end. Good evening for you,
Good
correct?
mine. Good evening from mine. So I see we have people joining us. We'll wait for a couple of more minutes, and just
Perfect.
so we know everybody's settled. But before that, like you mentioned, it's good morning for you, evening for me. And I was going through the attendees list. It was pretty exhaustive. So just a fun sort of engagement. It'd be amazing if the attendees can drop in a comment telling us where they're joining us from. And just to start, I'm joining from Bangalore, India. And
I'm here from Corvallis, Oregon, on the west coast of the US, and it's really, really nice to see everybody. Let us know where you are so we can say hi to you. We would love to do
yep.
that.
All right, then. We'll start with, very briefly talking about the LinkedIn Live initiative that we've been sort of, doing at Almabase over the last 1.5 years. So, we've been inviting experts on different sort of, subject matters which are important for, our colleagues in advancement, be it alumni engagement or advancement services. So, ranging from things like how to organize a good homecoming to how to leverage data better, or how to engage your young alumni better. And today, it's much more exciting because we'll be talking about a new technology, right? And like we know, whenever we are at the cusp of a new technology, there's equal parts apprehension and excitement, right? So over the past sort of 6 months, I've had a lot of people reach out and say, "What are we doing about ChatGPT? What are we doing about AI? How are we going to leverage it?" And so we thought, let's have a LinkedIn Live on it. Let's have a conversation, and we found just the right expert, right? So we have joining with us Anne. Anne Murphy is, she works at the intersection of technology and fundraising, and as the CEO of Empowered Fundraisers. But previously, she's also worked, in many leadership roles in development. I probably won't be doing great justice to her introduction, so I'll invite Anne to do it herself.
Sure. Hi, everybody. And by the way, Alyssa, do you work for Oregon? Do you work for Ohio University? I saw you're in Sylvania, isn't that like right around the corner from Athens? Anyway, it's really, really good to see everybody from all over the country. Go Bonnies, Lindsay says. Yeah, I'm Anne Murphy. I'm the CEO and founder of Empowered Fundraiser, and we're a firm out here to empower individual fundraisers as well as organizations to raise more money without trial and error. And we pride ourselves in bringing a really fresh perspective. This is based on my 25 years in higher ed fundraising and really just being struck by how profoundly our industry is changing and how important it is that we are out in front of the changes that are happening, which in the example of ChatGPT and AI and advancement, it's just like this huge wave. And I was giving an analogy the other day. It's kind of like we're on a surfboard and we're paddling and we're waiting for the big wave. And some of us might be waiting for the big wave to come and hit us. And then other people will be paddling out in front so that the wave kind of takes us, right? And I want all of you to be, like on the front end of that. And the fact that you showed up today bodes well. So welcome and kudos to you for getting yourself on that wave, because this is just a really phenomenal opportunity. I'll just say a couple more things by way of intro. I didn't expect to be like a tech person by any means. I am Gen X. I remember the first time I was supposed to turn on a computer. My friend and I were crawling around on the floor at University of Illinois, just trying to figure out, is it plugged in or not? And I'm not exaggerating, we did not know how to turn the computer on. So now fast forward like 30 some odd years, and here I am at this fun intersection of advancement and technology because I just have a curious mind. And I think that's all you really need is a curious mind, common sense, and a little bit of time. And you will be on the front end of the ChatGPT and advancement phenomenon, really.
Brilliant. Once again, before we start, I'd like to welcome everybody to this LinkedIn Live, where we'll be talking about how to leverage ChatGPT from the perspective of an advancement or a fundraiser's perspective, right? So right off the bat, and the first question would be, and most of us have an idea about what ChatGPT is, but when it comes to advancement, what role do you see it playing?
Mhm. I think like so many other industries, it's going to be ubiquitous. A lot of us have been using AI without even knowing it, and we've been using, language models without even knowing it. And now we have this opportunity where it's going to change the way we collaborate. It's going to change, think about this. Think how long it takes to be an excellent strategist, right? Your first year in advancement, you're like, what is even going on, right? 5 years later, you're starting to know what you don't know. 10 years later, you're starting to really, really get it, and you can see around the corner. With ChatGPT, you're able to see around the corner with every task you're doing. You don't have to wait for information to come to you. You don't have to go out and seek it from, 35 different sources. You press a couple buttons, and the knowledge is there. It's not just information, right? Because information is increasingly less useful. It's knowledge. And so I think that it is going to be in every single aspect of everything we do. And those of you who are on the call today will not be, they always say, like, is AI coming for your job? And the answer is no, but the people who use AI are coming for your job. Your job is going to change by the end of 2023. Period. End of discussion. We are all knowledge workers. The knowledge workers are most likely to have their roles changed. And I don't want to be a doomsdayer about that because it comes with so many opportunities. But really, this is an opportunity for you to advance in your career. Raise your hand and say, I'm interested in this stuff. I want to be on the AI Council. I want access. I want a subscription to ChatGPT 4. I want to give me a use case. Let me try it. Let me coach some other colleagues. Let me develop a peer network so that we can try this stuff out together.
Yeah.
That's a long-winded answer to where do I see this going in advancement? I suppose, the main thing is it will be ubiquitous, and it's our opportunity to, I like to say, amplify the good. This is our opportunity to amplify the good and, systematize the routine.
Makes perfect sense. And while we're not on the subject, just want to sort of also, make a note of the fact that towards the end of this session, we'll be giving out, a specially curated Chat GPT bundle, which Anne has sort of provided us. So you can just drop in the comment GPT in the comment section, and by the end of this week, we'll be mailing you the Chat GPT bundle, which will have an ebook, a sort of ChatGPT 101, as well as a free, ChatGPT training, 1 hour long training, which will be like a starting sort of a stepping stone towards, bigger things, right? Now, as we move forward, we talked about the role you see it playing, right, broadly. But if we could sort of, if you could help us visualize some of the use cases that you see ChatGPT playing for various verticals in advancement, be it alumni engagement or fundraisers or advancement services. Yeah. So how exactly do you see them leveraging it?
It's such a good question. And, some of these use cases, we could cover a bajillion of them from, little fun nuggets of like, write me a haiku about fundraising all the way to analyze this massive alumni data set. and create, pivot tables and beautiful data visualization and all this stuff. There's a million uses. So I did want to mention that tomorrow we have a beginner level training at 9:30 Pacific time. So just get in touch with us on that. So I'm going to share a use case that I think highlights how different subject matters within our advancement industry will engage with ChatGPT and have their work really, like I said, amplify the good. The use case, I'll just give a little intro, which is this is an example of something that where we've all been before. We've got an alumni and donor event around the corner. It involves who isn't involved by the time we launch an alumni and donor event. That's a big deal. So it's development officers, it's advancement services, it's events, it's donor relations, it's the leadership of the university, it's the unit that it's on, it's the talent, it's the host, it's the admins, the coordinators, it's the principal gift team, it's the annual fund team. So hopefully I've convinced you that this is a use case that impacts all of us. I am going to share my screen. Sosh, are you putting it up there? Excellent. All right. So you may all know that there's ChatGPT 3.5 and there's ChatGPT 4. ChatGPT 4 comes with some bells and whistles that ChatGPT 3.5 doesn't have, but it doesn't. 3.5 is so good that unless you're like a super user or really, really, really wanting to get into it, don't even sweat it, right? It's $20 a month. I love it, but you don't have to have it in order to be successful. Most of you probably know that the magic is in the prompting. So when you hear people in the hallway or in your, on LinkedIn chats talking about ChatGPT isn't a good writer, well, that actually means that person isn't good at prompting. That's it. With the right prompts and reprompts, you can get A+ output from ChatGPT. So I'm going to give you a use case that is, like I said, about an event. And so you don't have to watch me type out the whole prompt. I'm just going to cut and paste it. But keep in mind, when you're writing a prompt for ChatGPT, you do not need to spell correctly. You do not need proper syntax. You do not need to make sense. You can get it to make sense with your re-prompts, which is what you do after you get the output. So one of the things I like to say, so this is my prompt. It is nice to be nice to ChatGPT. So you do use encouraging, language. You let it know when it's giving you the output that you like, because you're training the model for you. So I say hi, good morning. And you give it a persona. You say, you are a higher education advancement expert. Let's say you were working on a recipe. You might say you work for, Cordon Bleu, the very best cooking school in the world, whatever. You are a higher education advancement expert. I need your help planning an alumni and donor event for ABC University. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm providing it with context so that ChatGPT's first answer is pretty solid. The outcome of your assistance should be seamless collaboration among colleagues in blah, 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 right? Our goal with this is that ChatGPT helps us collaborate in a much more elegant way than we otherwise would. Because you all know, this is a hot mess. Like when we try to do this kind of work together, it's 8,000 emails, right? It's people calling you on Teams at 4:59 on a Friday. It's, people pushing back on a program that they already approved. Like it goes on and on. So the outcome of your assistance should be that we collaborate better. The theme of this event is, will robots take over the world? So now, again, you're beginning to give ChatGPT the context that will help it produce creative writing for you. And our goal is to highlight our AI ethics program in the College of Engineering. We want our alumni and donors to walk away with the sense that they are insiders. They should know we are grateful for their support and we use their funds wisely. Now, here's where the magic is. I am going to ask you to conduct a series of tasks. Are you ready for the first task? And now I'm going to hit enter. See, they'd be delighted. Okay, I am ready for the first task. So now what I'm going to do is go into another technique that works really well with reprompting. I will say, great. To get us started, will you please ask me a series of questions about this event, one at a time. Only send the next question after I respond. Does this make sense? I don't need to ask it. Does this make sense? So what you'll see here, and I'm going to go through these really fast so that we don't have to spend a lot of time. Are we okay on time so far, Ankit? Okay.
Yes, we're good to go. Yeah.
Okay. So can you provide, okay, I'll just say tomorrow at 2 p.m., whatever, 1 p.m. How many guests? Let's see, 75 registrants. Let's see, 10 no-shows, 5 walk-ups. What is the venue? Okay, so you get the point that I'm going to just say, let's skip the rest of the questions. And I'll ask you for a new task. So if we would go through this whole exercise, it will likely start asking me questions like, let's see, what do you want the desired outcome of the speaker? What do you want the program to be for the event? What is your follow-up plan? Do you need talking points? Are you prepared to visit with your donors there? Like, you can think of this as a PhD level assistant who's going to help you not only put information together, but gather your own thoughts. So when I'm preparing for a donor visit, I say, I'm headed out for a donor visit. Can you please ask me a series of questions to be sure that I'm prepared? And it'll ask me, do you know the donor's giving history? You know, what are they passionate about? Who's part of making the decisions? Did you double check that the place you're meeting is open? Those kind of things. So now I'm just going to fast forward and say, will you please help me write an internal brief that will be approved by everyone involved. Outline the purpose of the event, logistics, etc. So we all know that writing an internal event briefing is not a high level task, right? There is strategy involved, and you can get ChatGPT to help you with that if you want. But really, this is just a blunt instrument for you to get approval on your event. Your goal is not to write the world's most amazing briefing. Your goal is to write a briefing that everybody's going to sign off on. So see, so you've got, an example here. You've got an intro, date and time, guests, blah, blah, blah. So now you can route this around to everybody. Let me give one more example of a prompt. Okay. So now I need you to write talking points for my dean to make remarks at the event. I want them to be warm. However, please note that her sense of humor is dry. Thank the host. Talk about robots. And welcome donors and thank them. So you see that I am not spending time writing elegant prose here because it just doesn't matter. Oh my God. See, they gave her a mild sense of humor, right? It says good afternoon, or should I say good binary code sequence, since we're exploring the world of AI today. Like, I mean, I can actually stop generating and I'll say, actually, that's too cheesy. Please tone it down.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll leave it at this, but you get the point. And if you were writing, like when you go to, for example, write the thank you notes from the dean, you will feed into ChatGPT. Here's an example of a thank you note that has been approved by 8 million people before, that went out under the dean's name. Please write a similar thank you note to all of our guests at this event. If you need a seating chart, you can use ChatGPT to help you with your seating chart. I mean, if I never do another seating chart for the rest of my life, it'll be too soon. So I think I'm done with screen sharing for now and I can just chat, but you would be able to ask for ChatGPT 4 to go out and find you tchotchkes and compare and contrast maybe 4 different companies of little, if you want, like branded pens or whatever, blankets. And you can ask it to give you a chart comparing and contrasting all the tchotchkes to help you decide which vendor to work with. Then you ask ChatGPT to write you the contract for the vendor. Like, see how it just goes on in these ripples.
So you basically keep refining it and get to the desired outcome. Hopefully, most of the audience here is convinced to the importance of ChatGPT. But then, if as an advancement professional, if you are one of the audience here, and if you were to go and make a case to your board about investing in ChatGPT or a similar platform, how would you make that case, and how would you sort of convince the board that it is important? What would you say?
So, did you say board?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The people who are responsible for investing.
Sure. So I bet you that pretty much everyone on this call works with volunteers in one capacity or another. And what I want for you is to have your talking points for when your volunteers or your event guests say, hey, what are you all doing about ChatGPT? What are you all doing about AI? What are you doing about our data? What's your confidentiality policy? What's your data security policy? Some of those things, yeah, we can definitely take Q&A in a second. Some of those things we just need, our boards they're already using this. It's already in their companies, right? They are paying the money. They have AI councils, they have experts. And I think there are 2 things that we want to be aware of. And I'll leave it with this before Q&A. Number 1, donors are sophisticated enough that if we are not leveraging tools like ChatGPT, they are going to wonder why they are investing in an organization that isn't using ubiquitous technology. So that's going to cause them to wonder, what the heck is going on there? Number two, maintaining their trust in us during this wild, wild west of AI and ChatGPT is going to be critical. So working with your leadership, when you're going out on a visit, say, hey, Senior Vice President, what am I supposed to say when so-and-so asks me what our AI policy is? You need to have those two things in mind at all times. We have to use technology, and also we need to maintain the donor's trust. And we got to walk that fine line between the two.
Got it. So we'll just take a couple of questions from the audience. I see one from Lindsay, and she asks us, can you tell us the difference between 3.5 and 4?
Sure. So 4 does a couple of things that 3.5 doesn't do, which is it has data. It has been trained on data up until this very moment, whereas ChatGPT's data stopped in ChatGPT 3.5 is trained on data up until September 2021. So if you were to say who won the Sox game yesterday, 3.5 is not going to tell you. 4 will tell you. 4 also gives you access to something called plugins, which the plugins kind of put a finer point on what ChatGPT is sending to you. So an example would be ChatGPT 4, there's a plugin that allows you to read PDFs. So you can load PDF documents into ChatGPT 4 and it will read them. Another example would be trip planning. So like all of the travel companies have plugins. Those are, for me, the two main things. And the plugins are like, that's another example of the wild, wild west. Like it's very, very easy to create a plugin. So some of them are not impressive, but some of them are the bomb. Like you can put in a whole bunch of URLs. It will read someone's entire website and summarize it for you.
Yeah,
does that
makes
help?
sense. Yep. Also, we have slightly over a couple of minutes before we close. So, one thing I'd like to remind the audience again, we will be sending out the ChatGPT bundle that Anne has specially curated. So if you haven't, drop in the comment section GPT, and we'll email it to you by the end of this week. And lastly, Anne, I would normally ask sort of speakers for their concluding thoughts in sessions like this, which I would. But since we're talking about a new technology, I would also ask you to venture into some bold predictions if you have for this.
Okay. Well, let me share this, that I just can't even believe myself, but I now spend somewhere between 2 and 4 hours a day learning this stuff. And it's only because I'm a super nerd and I spend a lot of time on TikTok and I'm in a couple of different communities. So one of my bold predictions is that nobody needs to spend this much time learning it, but you do need to allocate some time. It's a feel thing. You'll get a feel for it, and then your intuition will kick in. In the beginning, I was like, what? This Barney Basic website is this magic? No, I must have the wrong website. Like this doesn't even make sense. But now I'm taking ChatGPT text and putting it into the things that generate images and creating whole beautiful worlds and I'm not an artist. So I think the bold prediction, I don't actually think it's bold, to be honest. I think it's just that this is bigger than the Industrial Revolution. This is obviously bigger than the iPhone or any of the things that all of us have lived through with technology innovation. This is a huge new world. And for anyone who's worried about if the robots are smarter than us, the answer is yes, they already are.
All
And
right.
we're doing just fine.
I think that's a lovely note to end it on. But yeah, like thank you so much, and
So
for
happy.
helping us negotiate these murky waters. And thank you to everybody in the audience. It was really interactive. Loved the conversation, and we promise to keep bringing you more of these. And yeah, thank you so much. We'll send out the GPT bundle, and yeah, keep follow Anne for her lovely sort of wisdom. Yeah, thank you so much. Bye bye.
Take care, everybody. Thank you.